David, thank you for your responses.
Ask me, people are very well to ask about domestic politics, so give me one domestic policy question and then we'll open it up.
Okay. Given the fairly malign role of what's been called casino capitalism and the real grassroots sense of injustice about the recession and its causes represented in the Occupy movement and so on, do you think we in the UK need to radically reconsider the relationship between capitalism, the size of the state and social justice?
That's pretty big question. Yeah, I mean, well, let me pick up a couple of things. One, what are the Occupy protests? I think they reflect two things. One, they reflect a real anger about the sense that people are being ripped off by the financial sector. A real sense of injustice about inequality. Not all inequalities are unjust, but some are, and there's a real sense of anger about them. But secondly, and I have to take this on the chin as a democratic and establishment politician, they do reflect a degree of despair about whether or not politics, as conventionally practiced, is going to get to grips with some very big questions, whether they be international, domestic, social, etc. Equally, I don't think that we should mistake the Occupy protests for the views of the country. I think that they are, if you like, the apex of the pyramid of anger and despair, anger at the inequality, despair at mainstream politics. But 65% of people voted for the two main parties in 2010. In 1955, it was 95%. So there's clearly a diminishing confidence in the capacity of the two main parties to provide the big answers. And my message always to the Labour Party, at this, given its opposition, is we've got to elevate ourselves above the day-to-day stramash of politics and get ourselves into asking the big questions about employment, about society, about politics that in fact people know need to be answered, about the quote-unquote decline of the West, that in their bones people feel are underpinning the degree of insecurity that exists at the moment. So I think that's what I'd say about the Occupy protests. About the financial system, one of the things that we didn't do well enough in government is that good times don't necessarily mean a good system. And we had 10 years of good times, but it wasn't a good system. And people often get this out of kilter. The financial sector in Britain is smaller than the manufacturing sector. The financial sector in Britain is smaller than the creative industries in Britain. Creative industries are 10 to 11% of our economy, financial sector 9%. The difference is the following. Financial services provided £1 in every 8 of tax receipts, and 1/4 of all corporate tax receipts. So that is the over-dependence that had become engineered, and that is why we ended up with such a massive debt from having to socialise the bankruptcy of the banking system, or parts of it. And the lesson for us, I think, is twofold. One, the British banking system has got to be the blood supply for British industry, not just for global industry. So it's good that we're the financial capital of the world, but we've got to make sure the city is the financial capital of Britain as well. Financial industrial capital of Britain. Or not industrial, it's got the blood supply for industrial Britain. And that's, I think, pretty core. Second thing that's, I think, really important to learn about the financial crisis is about the interdependence of the global economy. In the idea that there is a resolution of Britain's concerns about standard of living or about employment. I'm running a commission at the moment on behalf of the voluntary sector about youth unemployment, which has hit 260,000 under 25s been unemployed for more than 12 months now. All those questions can't be seen in isolation from what we talked about first, which is the shift in the global balance of economic power. And that's why if you want to be an effective localist or nationalist, you've got to be an internationalist as well in the modern world.
David, thank you again for your thoughtful and